Hi, I'm Jason Will. I'm the broker owner of J. Park Houston County, but I'm also a certified listing specialist. My passion is selling homes. I'm actually going to take you inside that process and show you my 5 steps to getting your home sold and for the maximum net profit in the least amount of days. All right, step 1. Now, step 1 is a customized marketing vision for your property. During the consultation, we've got 3 things to cover. These are extremely important. Number 1 is your expectations. Can I meet your expectations, and can you meet mine? If we cannot have a meeting of the minds there, then this is not going to be a pleasant experience. Number 2, goals. I just need to understand what your primary goal is. That's the target. That's where I'm headed. And number 3 is the marketing vision. Now, first of all, I feel like not every real estate agent is created equal, and certainly you could agree that not every property is equal in its benefits and features and things that a buyer would find desirable. And so an assembly line approach to marketing is a huge mistake. We just don't rubber stamp a listing and send it off into the MLS. So the first thing I want to do is partner with you and your experience living in the home. What is your lifestyle? What are the memories? What drew you to buy this home in the first place? Out of all the homes you could have purchased, why this one? It is that emotional connection that's going to help guide the vision of my marketing process. It is your emotional connection and me marketing that emotional economy to the property that is going to create a connection with our audience, our target audience, which will ultimately lead us to your ideal buyer. Step 2 is inspection. I think it's extremely important in the bulletproofing of the transaction for a seller to do their due diligence. And I'm less concerned about the age of the property and more concerned about making sure that we don't get blindsided by an unforeseen event or repair or latent defect that cannot be seen behind the walls. That when we secure our ideal buyer, that we are able to protect that transaction all the way to the closing table. So we're really focused on 4 aspects of the home. So these are like habitability things. So the HVAC, the electrical, the plumbing, the roof, the big ticket items that could blow the sale. So we're going to bulletproof the transaction by addressing all those things prior to us putting the home on the market. So I want you to picture yourself as the buyer. I want you to put yourself for a minute in the shoes of the buyer. You're walking into a beautifully prepared home. And then the buyer approaches the kitchen table or the kitchen island, and there is a book. And inside that book contains the home inspection. The buyer turns the pages of the inspection report, and what do they find at the end of the report? But invoices from professional, licensed contractors that have addressed every serious item that was found on the home inspection. So what are we presenting to the buyer at the end of the day? A clean bill of health for this product. Step 3, staging. Now, hold on. I know when sellers hear that word, they start seeing dollar signs like, oh my gosh, it's so expensive. But staging can be really simple. It can be decluttering, taking some stuff to the storage unit or storing some stuff in a cabinet or in the garage. So just relax there. But in some cases, if it's a vacant home, we might want to bring furniture in. What we need to kind of keep in mind on this step of the process is that less is more. One of the biggest mistakes I see sellers making is, they've got an abundance of furniture, there's an abundance of stuff on the walls, they've got, the kids' artwork all over the fridge, and it's really hard for the seller to detach and to stop looking at their home as, their home and start looking at it as a commodity. We are going to prepare a blank canvas so that the buyer can replace your vision of the property with theirs. And it's so important. Again, one of the things that I have done throughout my many years in this business is listen. Listen not only to sellers, but to listen to buyers. And buyers say, oh my gosh, there was so much stuff in the home that I couldn't see past that stuff to actually visualize myself living in the home. Or everywhere I turned, there was a reminder that this wasn't my home. And that's a horrible mistake. We want the buyer to feel so comfortable when they walk in that they stay. And so we're going to stage it to sell. We're going to prepare an environment that allows them to experience the property as if it was their own. Step 4 is my absolute favorite. It's presentation. It's when we get to be creative. It's when we get to see our creative vision that we identified in the consultation come to life. So there's a lot that goes into this. And I like to give people this visual in terms of like how important the presentation day is to the overall success of the process. But the one thing I see that sellers make a big mistake is, they just want to get it done. Let's just hurry up and get it done and get it on the market. And I want you to hear this. It's about getting it right as opposed to right now. So if we've got this big day plan for the photography and the videography and the aerial photos and all these things that we do to capture these amazing images to make that awesome first impression with the buyer, if a front moves in and it's cloudy, it's overcast, God forbid it's raining, we got to pump the brakes. We got to take a time out. We need sunny days. I mean, think about this. You're scrolling through Zillow or Realtor.com and you've seen these pictures that are too dark, that are shot too early in the morning, too late in the evening, this is like the worst, but you know they were shot with somebody's phone. We're not doing that. Again, we never get a second chance at a first impression. There's a lot of research done around search patterns, and one of them is deciding whether the home they're viewing on Zillow is one they want to call their realtor and schedule an appointment to see. So we have about 7 seconds. 7 seconds to make the best first impression possible. 7 seconds to win over our competition and earn that showing appointment. We don't want to lose that opportunity because we took the pictures on the wrong time of day or in inclement weather or with the wrong devices. You don't want to hire a realtor that partners with the wrong photographer. That's why I partner with the #1 real estate photographer in the entire state of Alabama. The National Association of Realtors has done a half-century's worth of research on real estate marketing. And what they've come to understand is that the #1 factor that leads to a successful sale is beautiful, high-quality, high-resolution images. One of the coolest technologies we use is the Matterport camera. Now, why this is important to you is that it creates this virtual open house, this virtual showing experience. They say the first showing is actually happening online, and when they actually come to your house in person, that's the second showing. Web appeal has become the new curb appeal. And imagine this, not everybody has time, or not every seller is comfortable with strangers touring their home in an open house when they're not there. The Matterport technology actually gives you the feeling of being inside the home. You can actually walk through the rooms at your own pace. You can look at every nook and cranny of the ceiling and the floor. It is really like you're there. What we want to do is capture the imagination, the attention of the buyer so they see this 3D tour and they're like, oh my gosh, I got to go see this home. But then after they see the home, and let's say there's a couple homes that are in contention, they can go back to this virtual open house right at home in front of their laptop, and again, it's just like them being there. All right, step 5 is the valuation. Now, we're going to have to get real and raw for a moment because this is the most contentious part of the process with most sellers. And if you guys will permit me to just be completely honest with you. I need your permission for a moment. One of the things I see sellers doing is they just have this natural tendency to overprice their property. They just think it's worth more than it actually is just because it's theirs, or they've spent so many hours or dollars making it into their dream home. There's this other aspect of the definition of market value. I think it's important to just bring that into this conversation. The definition of market value is what a buyer is willing to pay. Now, this is a lot like the stock market in my opinion. Do you call your stockbroker and say, hey, I want to sell my Coca-Cola stock for X when it's currently trending at Y? No. He's able to sell that stock for market value. The real estate market is no different. It is the same. So the reality of this is that I've got a stake in this game, and you're pretty heavily invested in this too. In most cases, people's homes is their #1 investment. And so I understand that. So we have, we're heavily invested in this process. So that's why it's so important to bring a non-biased third party in to provide their professional expertise on what they feel like the market value is. The final part of this process is determining what our list price is going to be. And how we determine list price is we combine these three pricing opinions of the professional real estate agent, you the seller who's got this very valuable sentimental economy of the home, and then this unbiased third-party professional appraiser who knows the market, who knows how to value your upgrades, your sweat equity, all these things that make your home special that comp value simply can't do. Taking all these three together is how we're going to find the perfect ideal list price. All right, so let's break this down. I know this is a lot, and there's a lot of details in this, so I'm going to give you a brief summary of each one of the steps. So step one is the consultation. That's just basically defining our strategy. Like, what's our game plan? We need a game plan that we both agree on. So that's really, really important. Step two is the inspection. Before we present your home to the marketplace, we need to make sure it's got a clean bill of health. Step three is staging. We've got to create that clean canvas that we talked about so that a buyer can envision the property as their own and not yours. That's extremely important. Step four is the presentation. This is all about beautiful, stunning imagery that captivates the imagination. Step five is the valuation. That is us using multiple factors to come up with a compelling market price. In closing, I would just ask you to consider this. Who you hire matters. Not all real estate agents are created equal. Not all real estate agents have a marketing process or a marketing plan. And what we have done in the consultation phase, we have identified your goal, your ideal outcome for the end of this transaction. We don't want to leave that up to chance. We want to have a targeted strategy that's going to guarantee the desired result. If you have questions about my certified listing process, I want you to feel comfortable picking up the phone right now and calling me direct at 205-778-4428 or visit me online at jasonwill.com.